G'day there guys, actually isn't funny, but is just very charismatic. It's Markee here and welcome back to another episode of r/AmiTheA. Now if you love today's content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn in the barbie, and enjoy all of today's stories, then tell me what you think of them down in the comments. Posted by user Completely Concerned. Titled, Am I the a-hole for grounding my stepdaughter? I, 51 male, married my wife, 46 female, 6 years ago. We now have 4 wonderful boys, 5, 3, 2, and 4 months. I also have a stepdaughter, Ellie, who is almost 15. Fam, how are you having kids so late? What is going on? I have always gone running in the mornings, and often my favorite time for running is right when my youngest tends to wake up. My wife usually gets the kids up and gets them ready, but she works a night shift, so I don't want her up 2 hours after she goes to bed. To solve this problem, I decided that Ellie, who's the stepdaughter by the way, should help out more. She gets a pretty big allowance for doing not that many chores, and I figured that giving the kids breakfast wouldn't be too hard for her. Unfortunately, she has decided that 2 a.m. would be a wonderful time to go to bed, and therefore isn't up at 9 when the kids get up. She told me this, and I basically told her tough luck, she should go to bed earlier. She said that my kids weren't her responsibility, and I should just take care of them myself. I reminded her that they were her siblings, and she should just go to bed earlier. I also reminded her that she receives a generous allowance, and that it could definitely be reduced. She says that she already does a huge amount of chores. Reality check, she doesn't. Whoa. She absolutely refused, calling me a selfish a-hole because I can't quit running to take care of my children. The thing is, I wouldn't have to quit running if she would just grow up and help out a little. I grounded her for her use of language and for being disobedient. Now she's mad, and my wife says I should have been kinder. So, am I the a-hole? OP, you do realize that running is a luxury, and that looking after your kids is a necessity, and that you chose to have 4 new kids at age 51, and if you have lived this long, you've existed for that amount of time, and you can't balance your own responsibilities and put your kids first, then I have no words for you. You're such a piece of crap, making your 15-year-old be the mother in this family. That's so wrong on so many levels. It's not her job to raise your kids. You're the parent, leave her alone. You're the a-hole. Edit? To the people calling this parentification, or whatever it is, this isn't that. Parentification is absolutely abuse, but this is just me to try to get her to take some responsibility for her youngest siblings. Edit 2, I don't dislike Ellie. I tried to bond with her when she was young, but she always insisted that I would never be her father, so I stopped trying. She's my wife's daughter. Going to bed at 2 is perfectly normal for teenagers. Their circadian rhythm is much later than adults. You're the a-hole majorly. Let her sleep in. They aren't her kids, and she didn't sign up to take care of 4 children in the morning. It doesn't matter that they're her siblings, they are your kids. She's right. You are a selfish a-hole. Take care of your kids and don't dump it on her. I hate to say this, and I'm sure you have great intentions, but I think you're the a-hole. You describe your boys as wonderful, but you don't extend this to your stepdaughter. OP, you made a choice to have 4 children with your wife. Your wife and you have a duty to raise the children and raise them well. Your children did not have a choice in being born, so it is down to you and your wife. The fact that you have a stepdaughter is irrelevant. She's not your children's parent, you and your wife are. Next, you say you pay your stepdaughter. Think about it. Would you expect what you expect of her for the money that you pay? Think about it. What do you do for a living? How much do you get paid an hour? What about if you do work in unsociable times? Do you get paid extra? It's fine having time to yourself, but only if it's possible. Putting your responsibilities onto your stepdaughter is a selfish abdication of responsibilities by you. Your stepdaughter will go through her own issues if and when she has children. Why should she have to take on the responsibilities of yours? Your stepdaughter did not give birth to your children, your wife did. You are a parent. Be one. Stop abdicating your responsibilities just so that you can selfishly do you. Update: Am I the a-hole for grounding my stepdaughter? Yes, I am definitely the a-hole. After reading through the many comments and PMs I got telling me I was a horrible person, I have to admit I was feeling pretty defensive. I didn't think I was a horrible person, but everybody was telling me that I was. Then I decided to actually sit through and read every comment I got, and I slowly started to realize that I really messed up. When I first married my wife, I was thrilled to have a stepdaughter. I had always wanted a daughter, and I was so excited to finally be a dad. However, I didn't think about how she would have been feeling. Ellie has a father who she's very close with, but I never stopped to think about how she would react all of a sudden having a stepfather in her life. I expected her to treat me like her father without realizing that she already had a father and I had done nothing to deserve that role. I expected too much from her too soon, and when she didn't immediately start calling me her dad, I stopped trying at all. Instead, I had other kids, but she never apparently became close with them either. She has a stepmother and step-siblings, as well as half-siblings in her father's family, and she's extremely close with them all. I was so jealous of her attachment to them that I never bothered to think about how I messed up the relationship I could have had with her. I talked to Ellie the other day. I apologized for the way that I treated her and apologized for grounding her. She said it was okay. She shouldn't have cursed at me, but she didn't want to take care of her siblings at all. I'm buying a treadmill and Ellie is moving in with her dad. That's it. By the end of next month, she is going to be gone. This isn't how I wanted this to end. The boys are distraught over losing their sister. My wife isn't speaking to me, even the dogs can feel the weight in the air. And it's all my fault. I don't think I'll ever be able to build a relationship with her at this point. I threw away every chance I got to become closer with her, and now I'm out of tries. Thank you, Reddit, for helping me get some clarity. Edit: Many of you are telling me that I definitely need to keep speaking to her, and I plan to. While she might not be my daughter, she is a part of my family, and I do not want to part on bad terms with her. I spoke to Ellie earlier, and she expressed that she would be okay if it was just like an uncle instead of a dad, and that's good enough for me. I've been trying to spend more time with her lately, and it's been going okay. She said that she doesn't want us to part on bad terms, because then things will be awkward, and that would suck. We're going to make stir-fry later. Edit number 2. We made stir-fry, then I taught her how to make chocolate frosting, and we talked a lot. At first it was awkward, but it got easier. Ellie talked about her dad and her stepmom and her siblings. She has 11 siblings. She told me that she has so many siblings that they blur together. She doesn't have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 5-month-old brother. She has younger siblings. I found out that Ellie has a Reddit account. In fact, she regularly participates in r/AmiTheA. She saw the original post, she saw me get torn apart in the comments, she told me I'm a jerk, and I agreed. She saw this post too. I asked her if she wanted to put a comment down. She said she doesn't want me to know what her account is called. I asked her if family therapy would be okay, and she said yes, as long as we also get Starbucks. I'm okay with that, even if that means I have to drink that birthday cake in a cup that apparently passes for coffee. I hope this keeps happening. I enjoy her company. She's a bright kid. Thanks for the latest update. Do yourself a favor though. When you do go get Starbucks with her, you might want to skip the stupid ass not so funny joke about their coffee to yourself. If she loves the place, a negative comment from you won't help matters. Birthday cake in a cup is actually one of the few inside jokes I have with her. I put it on here hoping she would see it. I brought her to Starbucks one day after school, but I didn't know what to get. She decided to order for me, and got me some caramel thing with whipped cream and cinnamon and chocolate chips and all. She had recently gotten an ice cream cake for her 13th birthday, and it was made with caramel and chocolate ice cream. I pointed out that it tasted exactly like her cake, and she thought that was hilarious. Now, whenever we get Starbucks, she always tries to find a drink that tastes the most like her latest birthday cake. She had a candy cane cake in November, and I ended up with a peppermint hot chocolate. Look, I know you got beat up in this thread, and in the previous one, and to be honest, you deserved it. But if you can turn this around, it'll be huge. I've been completely no contact with my mum and stepdad for years, partly because of him and partly because of her. But if he had put in even half as much effort as it sounds like you're trying to, it would have made a huge difference, and I might still have a relationship with them. So good on you for trying to turn this around. While it's nice to see that you've accepted your wrongdoings, I really sympathize with Ellie here. Hopefully she'll have a happier life with her father and step-family. Also, seriously? You couldn't have gotten a treadmill 3 weeks ago? Yes, I well and truly screwed up, and now I'm being forced to accept it. If Ellie will live a happier life with someone else, I am willing to let her go. I do care about her, and I hope she does well, even if she will never be my daughter. Do you think your wife's going to divorce you? Quite possibly. We haven't spoken in almost 4 days. Despite you clearly being the a-hole in your original post, if this is your main offense, and not just the latest in an ongoing pattern of being an a-hole towards your stepdaughter and wife, I hope this does not happen. For the sake of your marriage, you need to talk to your wife and let her know the things that you have written in this post. Discuss anything that you could or could not do to keep Ellie's relationship with her mother and her half-brothers strong. Anything that your wife thinks that you should do should be on the table, even if it means swallowing your pride. Posted by user GF Conspiracy. Titled, Would I be the a-hole for giving my girlfriend an ultimatum to cut out her friends? I, 25 male, have known my girlfriend, 22 female, for 7 years, dating for 5. Shortly after she graduated, her longtime friend group imploded. By the end, I was the only friend she had left. This will be important later on. Anyway, life goes on, and she made new friends in college. I'm not nearly as close to them as she is, but I always thought that we got along fine. I did notice one of her besties, Kay, had become more and more cold to me, but I didn't think much of it. I figured she just didn't like me. Fast forward to now. My girlfriend is visiting her parents for a week, when I get a notification from Kay's boyfriend to check a group chat we all were in for making plans. I don't even know how to describe how what I saw there made me feel, so I'll just summarize. There were screenshots from a group chat that Kay and 2 other of my girlfriend's friends had made. It appears Kay, who is bi, at some point had fallen in love with my girlfriend, but it gets so much worse. At first it was just her venting about her unrequited feelings, but eventually it evolved into direct planning on how to sabotage our relationship and steal her from me together, since apparently they would be so cute together. This included a plan to get me blackout drunk and take compromising pictures of me with another girl, roofie jokes included, which they decided wouldn't work since I don't drink. They actually had a plan of visiting and hiding condom wrappers in our garbage this week before my girlfriend got home to convince her I'm cheating. She also mentioned how she doesn't love her boyfriend anymore and is only using him until she can get the girl she deserves. So I can understand why he was snooping on her. I'm guessing he thought she was cheating, and he wasn't far off. Now, my girlfriend has also seen the screenshots, and we had a brief talk about it, but when I mentioned how uncomfortable I felt and how I felt we shouldn't have these people in our life, she snapped at me, saying that I don't get to choose who she can be friends with. I said we both need some time to process this, as it's still entirely recent, and we decided to have to table this until we're together again. That being said, would I be the a-hole for insisting that if our relationship is to continue, she has to cut these people out 100%? I understand that she's worried about losing her entire friend group again, and that it's her choice. But I don't feel safe, nor do I feel like she's safe around these people anymore. I don't want to lose her, but I'm terrified of what they'll do if she lets them stay after all of this. I guess it completely depends from person to person as to what your moral compass is with this. If you believe that she's an adult and she can handle this herself, and if she sees some nuggets of good fortune and goodwill from these people, because I certainly don't see it. I see an abyss of suffering if you dive back into that friend group. I see that girl's boyfriend is checked out of the relationship. He's probably checked out of that friend group too, and he's a smart cookie. You should go with him if she's not going to do that. That's my 2 cents and my unwarranted relationship advice. I don't think you're an a-hole for asking her to cut out these people 100%. Yes, it's sad to cut out yet another friend group, but if that friend group is going to drag you down and put you and your girlfriend in dangerous situations, they're not worth keeping around. Do you like hanging out with serial killers or people that want to actively harm you? Because I don't think that's a good idea. Doesn't feel like it. They've been exposed. It's either time to lose the girlfriend or lose the friend group. She has a choice and you have a choice. It's life and it's unfortunate, but not the a-hole. Not the a-hole, but don't do it in the form of an ultimatum. Present her with the facts and see how she proceeds. If she doesn't see this as being an incredible breach of her trust by these purported friends and takes steps to remove them, then you pretty well know what to do. But if you frame it as a my way or the highway decision, it's going to cause raw nerves because ultimatums always do. I understand what you mean. I just didn't know how I could say, I can't be with you if these people will be in our life without sounding like an ultimatum. Something like this. This is your situation to do with as you see fit, but it also affects me quite negatively, and I do not feel comfortable in it at all. How do you see it, and how do you plan on proceeding? Not the a-hole, by the way. You're just going to have to let her make a decision and make yours based on that. Not the a-hole. I don't think you were trying to choose her friends for her. You were trying to protect yourself, your girlfriend, and your relationship. Those people seem really terrible. I never expected this from them. I was completely blown away. I guess you never know what some people are like behind closed doors. I don't know if they've raised other red flags when I'm not around. Maybe my girlfriend was so happy to have female friends again she didn't see them, or maybe they were just that good at hiding them. Not the a-hole. You aren't trying to choose who her friends are. Kay is a horrible person. She actually plotted to drug you. If the shoe were on the other foot and a guy joked about roofing her, she would probably demand you be the one to call the cops. But since you're a dude, it's probably that double standard. Oh, it's okay the other way round. Honestly, if your girlfriend supports her, you're better off letting her go with Kay, dude. They deserve each other. I don't think she supports her. I just think she's overwhelmed and doesn't know what to do, and doesn't want to lose anyone again. I don't think she was thinking rationally, but if she forgives this and expects me to do the same, I can't see any good outcome. Update. Would I be the a-hole for giving my girlfriend an ultimatum to cut out her friends? Update. I thought some of you might want to know how things have been since my last post, so I figured I'd update. There's been good and there's been bad, so I'll just go in the order of events. The day after the original post, I found out that Kay was thrown out by her ex. I came over to visit, brought him some beer, and thanked him for telling us. He's a good dude, and we decided to stay in touch. This made Kay effectively homeless, as she has no job due to the current situation. Last time I mentioned I was giving her time, turns out she didn't need much, because a few days later, she called me crying to apologize for how she acted. I'll paraphrase. She said at first it didn't feel real for her. She just couldn't understand what she was reading and wanted this all to be some sick joke. But the messages from Kay and her other friends, like, we could try an open relationship, and we were never really gonna hurt him, made it real. She blocked them on everything because she couldn't take seeing that stuff anymore. It finally hit exactly how terrible the whole situation was, and how in denial she was about the true meaning of what was said. Once she realized what they wanted to do to me, she felt terrible for how she acted. She told me that if I didn't want her to come back, she'd understand, and I told her that I love her and want to see her soon. And I want her to try to enjoy what's left of her visit, and we will deal with the rest together when she gets back. When she did, we had a long talk about cutting them off, about filing a report, getting cameras, and most importantly, getting some therapy. It was great and brought us closer, and I wish that that was where things ended. We were honestly afraid Kay was going to show up and harass us, and we were surprised when we didn't hear from her. Unfortunately, Kay knew when my girlfriend got back and had been drinking a lot before deciding sometime in the night to confront us. I don't know what her plans were, but she drove drunk, had an accident, and didn't survive. I honestly don't know how to feel about this. I've just been trying to support my girlfriend the best I can. Since then, me, my girlfriend, and Kay's ex have been receiving a lot of messages from her family and the former friends about how this is our fault, and that we killed her. You get the idea. The funeral was a couple of days ago, and we didn't attend. We're still going through with everything we said we'd do. This time to protect ourselves from Kay's family, and especially the therapy. Lots and lots of therapy. This will probably be the only update, hopefully. I think we're going to be okay though. Whoa, dude, that was some kind of roller coaster. You think it's done and has a happy ending and BAM! Car crash. I'm so sorry your life has been turned upside down, and I hope you guys can find some sort of stability. It goes without saying that neither of you have an ounce of fault here. Think of it this way, if not somewhat morbid, you have an intense story to tell. This whole year is a roller coaster, and I want off. Relatable? I think, at least for me, I'm gonna try to move past this and leave it in the past. 2020 has enough morbid stories. Damn, that's rough about Kay. I mean, she sounds like a bad person, but it's still sad when someone goes out like that. Obviously, you all aren't at fault for her death. She decided to be crappy, she decided to drive drunk, etc. But I can see why her family is lashing out, especially if they don't have the whole picture. Therapy is good, and hopefully you'll be able to move forward. Thank you. I don't think it makes much of a difference, but the family is well aware of what happened. Kay's ex has sent them some of the screenshots to try to get them off his back. We have gotten messages like, "You deserve to be taken advantage of," for me, and "Your selfishness killed her," for my girlfriend. I know that grief makes people crazy, but I think I see where Kay got it from. I'm most worried about Kay's ex, as he's feeling a lot of guilt because he kicked her out, but he couldn't have known that this would happen. Okay, and I think that's where we're going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I do hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even learned something from these stories. Just want to say a quick shout out to my Patreon subscribers and my channel members. You guys should be on the screen right now. If you do see yourself, I want you to give yourself a little pat on the back for being amazing and supporting me on this channel, this little journey we're going on the YouTubes. I really appreciate it, and you guys enabled me to do all this amazing work. So if you do see yourself, I love your face and I'm happy to see you. Also guys, if you want to pitch in your own support, you don't have to, but channel links are down in the description below to support the Patreon, the channel membership, whatever you want to do. It's kind of like tipping me if you feel like I'm doing a good job on this channel. I will be opening up avenues for content on those in the future. Just right now I'm kind of bogged down and stuck in Ireland, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway guys, with that said, I do hope you have a wonderful day today. Whatever you're up to, I'd love to know down in the comments below. I do hope you have a good day, night, sleep. Whatever you're up to today, tell me, and I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Bye.